Starting up the YouTube stream. Okay, so they've moved, and it depends on your OS where they are, Bone Doll. But if you go to play a game in existing world and you click on files, and then click on file, it'll literally just open it up for you. In my case, it opens it up for me. So if you need to find like where your recent save files are, yeah, that or it's in the just in there. I actually haven't looked specifically where it is. I just know that that button works. Also, they're not in app data for me on Linux. They're still in the old save files on Linux, which is kind of funny. That or they're doubled. I don't know. You made back on the 9th, like of this month? I mean, Linux users are apparently up to 5% on Steam, which is crazy. Because, like, before the Steam Deck released, Linux users were, like, below 2%. And those are not all Steam Decks. Because it's, like, only roughly half of those are Arch Linux. Which is likely mostly Steam Decks on Steam. Darth Vader? Ah. That... Yep. Mm-hmm. Definitely. The first thing I see in the YouTube chat is, I use Arch, by the way. What's up, Ramo? Of course you do. We're all proud of you. But yeah, Dwarf Fortress did hide the save game files, but according to Putnam, it's for like better structuring. Got a dad joke? What's made of leather and sounds like a sneeze? What? I don't know if this is, Oh, I get it. Ashu! Right? Yeah, that's one of those ones that would work better in, like, verbally. If you say it verbally. Then, like, some dad jokes, like, I read them in my head and I'm like, huh? But yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. My favorite one is when I go into my bathroom and take all my clothes off, my shower gets turned on. That might actually be my favorite one to just, like, randomly blurt out in public, because, like, the most unexpected people just, like, sneeze and, like, start, like, I've seen people's drinks come out of their nose when I say that. Because it's just like, that is a sentence, but you say that around the right people and it hits pretty hard. You gotta tell the wife that one, hold on. I mean, it's true! Like, you can't deny it! You know, it's a funny joke when I say a joke and someone in chat's just like, gotta go tell my wife, hold on! Clockwork Dragon, thank you very much for the 9th month. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Jack, can I get a round of beers for Clockwork? Continuing to keep that sub alive. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was the last one standing? Oh, he was outstanding in his field. Yes, got it. Why don't skeletons... why do skeletons only play piano? Because they don't have any organs. Anyway. I mean, that one makes more sense and is funnier around people who, like, still know what an organ is, because... Make sure this VOD starts right, what? Starting it off with a bunch of puns! There's been a couple really funny, very zero context, I guess, starts to my VODs in the past. Every now and again, I'll upload a VOD and someone will just immediately comment and be like, "Whoa! Was not ready for the, like, last 5 sentences of a political discussion we were having," or like, the unprompted punchline of a, like, dad joke, or just, like, me spoiling part of a movie because, like, I cut it in the wrong spot. I was really like, "Oops, sorry. My bad." Organ, I love and hate organs. I love organs because pipe organs are genuinely, like, incredible works of art. Like, let's take a building and make it into make the whole building into an instrument, right? I kind of hate them because of where they're located, if that makes sense. Like, I love organs. I wish that I could hear something other than church music on a pipe organ. You know? That's all. Like, organs are cool, but like, where else would you put a pipe organ? You know? Like, I feel like a pipe organ is the sort of thing that you, like, theoretically could get in, like, I don't know, an airport, maybe? Like, you know how airports or, like, some public buildings will just have, like, a piano there, and then random people just, like, sit down and start playing piano? Like, public pianos? Like, could you have a public pipe organ? Or probably just enough people don't know how to play a pipe organ, functionally. Oh, that's cool. I know that UBC had one at one point. I don't know if they still do. It's one of the most majestic instruments of music ever. Yeah, no, totally. I mean, unless your name is Look Mom No Computer, in which case then she wasn't amused. I mean, then it's working as intended, right? She wasn't as amused. I mean, hey. I think it went over her head. Well, I don't know how to respond. Saw pipe organs in a house. I mean, the YouTuber Look Mom No Computer bought a pipe organ from a church that was renovating and, like, built it in a shoe closet, and now it shoots fire. And is also, like, synced with a, like, what's it called? A sequencer. So he has, like, an automated pipe organ now. Yeah. Pretty much, Alf G. I mean, my older sister is one of the few people in my immediate family that still goes to church. Because her husband is from Kansas. And so he's definitely the religious one in the family. But they go to this little Anglican church. And it's a very small church. Like, it's got a congregation of, like, 60 people or something. Like, it's not big. It's pretty small. And they have a pipe organ. And they've been, like, pooling money and fundraising for, like, 2 years to fly somebody out from Quebec because that is the closest place that has people that specialize in repairing pipe organs. To the point where I was just, like, kind of talking with her about it, about, like, what needed fixing. And they're like, yeah, no, it's a lot of electronics things and some woodwork. I'm like, well, how complicated are the... Sorry about the backup signal. That'll probably stop quickly. If it doesn't, I'll close the door. It's like, how expensive is the electronics in that? Like, it can't be that complicated, right? Like, I'll bet you if you give me a soldering iron and, like, a magnifying glass, I could figure that shit out. Like, it can't be that nuts, right? So, like, I gather the tuning part's probably pretty complicated because you have to adjust the pipes, but, like... with wire to activate them. It depends on when it was built, or of the embers. They're either entirely analog or semi-electric. So if it was, like, built after the 1970s, probably semi-electric, which means it's a bunch of tubes with, like, what's the word? Basically, like, little electronic circuits that, like, connect it to the bellows, which is what shoots air through the tubes, basically. So it's, like, electrically activated little valves that open the tubes so that it shoots air through to make sound, right? Whereas, like, an old school pipe organ is all mechanical, where you have, like, a physical pump somewhere. Yeah, it's probably a lot of really... Maybe I was going to say shoddy wiring. Convoluted wiring. Most likely. Yeah, that also depends. True. Women cosplay. Yeah, if it's like really old cabling, could just be completely rotted through. You like church music? I think that there's like something to be said for a good choral piece, or I had a funny retort the other day about church music. Oh geez, what was it? This in my head now, it's just like church music is just karaoke from the 1500s, but that's not what I said. It's just very easy to learn music. That's all it is. What if a piano was big flutes? What if a piano was an accordion? Or like, what if a piano was wind operated? Or what if a piano was accordion but also bagpipe? Now I want somebody to make a giant bagpipe. There's a calliope, which is similar to an organ that is a public instrument on the Riverwalk in New Orleans. I need to Google what that looks like, but I think I've seen one of those before. Right, yeah, steam-powered pipe organs. Yeah, these things. I've seen these. I have seen these before. I've also seen homemade, or handmade ones. Yeah, I've seen these as part of like parades and such. It's like a portable steam-powered pipe organ, basically. You know, that kind of shit. Some old-school fairground nonsense. Okay, so, like, we're getting better or a cages rework at some point for Dwarfort, right? Well, what if we had portable musical instruments? You know, like, what if the humans could, like, send you a festival cart and they show up with, like, one of those and then just show up and dance in your tavern for a bit and then they leave? Piano, percussion, organ, wind. I used to always like to tell pianists that they play percussion instruments and they would get upset with me. Like, they'd get, like, weirdly defensive about, like, piano not being a percussion instrument, and I maintain that piano is a percussion instrument. First stream in a while. Hello, Gazoom! I'm alright. I hope you're doing alright. The oldest organ is literally a huge bagpipe. Got to post to Reddit. Blind confirms organs are coming to DF. We kind of already have organs, though. If you actually, like, read the descriptions of some of the stationary instruments, there are plenty of, like... It is very possible for Dwarf Fortress to, like, generate a wooden pipe organ with, like, a bellows and shit. Like, that's not out of the realm of normal. So... Correct, yes. It's like the percussion variant, I would say, of like a harp, right? It's like just a horizontal harp is a piano. Although I guess technically a harpsichord is literally a horizontal harp. But speaking of harpsichord, underrated instrument in the modern world. I wish that was used more often. Like, I know it's very Baroque, but like, there's something about harpsichord that's just kind of dope. I really like harpsichord. Also, I have to say, shorts frustrate me on YouTube because I wish that I wish that my normal videos did a third as well as my shorts. And it really makes me wonder, because like my YouTube channel got big after shorts existed. Like it got an influx of audience after shorts existed. I wonder how well my normal videos would do with the channel the size that mine is right now before shorts existed. Because like I uploaded this morning, right? It's a 12-second short. And this is the kind of promotion that it gets from YouTube. But YouTube has so much space on the homepage dedicated to promoting shorts that no longer promotes videos. So there's like a lot of thought space and like focus on shorts. Like this short's doing really well, actually. I don't know. I really wish that that YouTube could focus more on promoting the videos. I guess that's not where the money's at for them. Shorts certainly aren't where the money's at for us. I need to invest heavily in cargo pants, clearly. That it's a muted harpsichord? Yeah, like a piano is a harpsichord with muting, right? Because like you have much more control over the how loud it is. That's really the only well, not the only difference, but your son's stop motion content gets no views on the videos, only the shorts. I mean, like the weird thing about like shorts, right, is the current knowledge of YouTube, you upload shorts to get subscribers so that your videos, when you upload them, get recommended to the people who watch your shorts. But like, if somebody subscribes to my YouTube channel for the shorts, are they necessarily going to watch my videos? Because I feel like they're only there for the shorts. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like the difference between like people who watch streams and the people who watch YouTube videos. You know, like there are people who only watch pre-recorded content, and then there are people who like exclusively watch streams. You're better off on TikTok? I don't know if I agree with that necessarily, because TikTok manipulates shit even more than YouTube does. I mean, YouTube does a lot of shady shit. Like right now they're AI upscaling all the shorts. But like, sure, if you're, I mean, yeah, I guess if the goal is to not monetize the content and instead just simply get things in front of people, the platforms you want to go to is TikTok and Instagram, but I don't have accounts on either. Well, actually, I have accounts on both of those. I don't have accounts on either of those places that I use, so I don't know, man. I don't know. To give guitars to dwarves and have them be lutes as well? Poets and everything? I mean, I've had worlds that have more or less... Because every world has unique instruments, right, Mr. in YouTube chat? I'm just going to call you Mr. Clippy, because you're a Clippy. But Mr. Clippy in YouTube chat. In Dwarf Fortress, every world has unique instruments that are generated alongside the world and its cultures. those unique instruments could just literally be a loot. I've had plenty of stuff like that. But you noticed it gets 0 engagement on YouTube and it gets much more engagement on TikTok? Can I ask, how many views are they getting on YouTube versus how many views are they getting on TikTok? Because the reason I'm not a fan of TikTok is when you first start posting to TikTok, you get a lot of engagement. Like, they put you in front of people to encourage you. And then you have to follow what TikTok is doing that TikTok deems as popular at the time. I've seen people go from getting hundreds of thousands of likes and views per video on TikTok to hundreds overnight because they are doing a thing that worked and then that thing arbitrarily stops working. YouTube is more of a slow ramp up, even with the shorts, where some will just do weirdly well in comparison to others, but there's a lot more consistency there. Like, if we actually look at my shorts here on YouTube, it's like, is that a lot of engagement? No. But there is engagement there. And the Dwarf Fortress shorts are pretty consistent. And every now and again, I'll have one that just does wildly well. And, you know, I make tens of dollars. But, like, at the same time, they do get in front of people, which is what matters. I don't necessarily believe that TikTok's views are real, though. Kind of for the same reason I don't believe that Facebook's views are real. Although, I can tell you why I kind of don't think that these views are real either. If you actually go to revenue in shorts, and you scroll down, engaged viewers, these are the people who actually watched long enough to make revenue for the short, 6,400. And this short has how many views? 15,000. Which means they watched more than 6 seconds of it, approximately. At least YouTube surfaces that number. Alrighty. Let's play some Dwarf Fort, shall we? Twitch chat. Thank you very much for tuning in early. Thanks for the little hype train. Thanks for the gifted subs and the resubs and the primes and the bits. It means a lot to me, seriously. YouTube chat. Same to you. Hi, hello. How are you doing today? I hope that you guys are doing well. I did this yesterday. I'm going to do it again today. This is a super chat goal where, I don't know, YouTube allegedly likes streams that have super chat goals. So I'm just going to call it algorithm. It's just there. If you want to throw money, that's cool. If you don't, that's fine. The thing that's more important, though, remember to click that like button if you're watching on the YouTube side of things. Twitch chat, if you want to help out the YouTube side of things at absolutely no cost to you, there is a link to the YouTube chat where you could leave a like or lurk on both. And YouTube folks, if you want to help out the Twitch side of things at absolutely no cost to you, here's a link to the Twitch stream. If you have extra tab, if it's not blocked where you work, or if you, I don't know, just want to sit in two chats, there's a link to that. What else? This is a completely crowdfunded channel. I don't make any money off of sponsorships, not even this can of bubbly that I'm drinking, which is invisible because it's green. So instead, I sell mugs like this. Over on my merch store, I have a bunch of mugs. I'm working on a new video now, which is going to be bigger like the other hour-long stories I've made, which is going to have some merch associated with it. So maybe keep an eye out for that. Or, alternatively, check out my merch store. There should be a link in the YouTube stream description, or exclamation point merch here on the Twitch side of things. The next thing I have is I have a Discord server, which there are links in all the obvious places. Or you can just use the join code BLIND if you want notifications of when things go live. I'm in sellout mode for the moment for some reason, so I'm just going to keep at it. I have a blog. Now, I've been neglecting this the past few weeks because, to be completely honest with you, I've been fucked. It's been ridiculously busy this August, and on my time when I'm not streaming or editing, I'm just too tired to even think about, like, writing. But I want to get back into this a little bit, and there's a few things I want to refresh with this sooner than later, so I'll probably get to that sometime in September. But this is another way that you can support me if you want. I do have paid tiers on here, which I also probably need to redo a little bit, but these are kind of the actual ones. These ones are kind of just a joke. And it's essentially like Patreon, except I get all the money, unlike Patreon. So if you want to support me directly, that's a way to do that. The last thing I kind of want to mention before we dive in here is thank you very much for tuning in. I have the coolest job in the world, and the only reason I get to do this is because people like you tune in and watch. So thank you. You may have said it, Ice Blue, but I completely missed what was up with your rendering time. One of them you won off of a giveaway that you paid for? That's still amusing to me. Genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's just like somebody buys a mug, gives it to chat, enters their own giveaway, and wins their own giveaway. It's like... You like buying merch with extra danger. It's like flipping a coin to see if you have to pay the bill or pay double. Pay no bill or pay double at a restaurant, you know? Because you have to enable it at the start, and there are times when you don't want it. Brown bear. But let's dive in and play some Dwarfort, shall we? The Past Land. Colorbeard is our fort for the day. Why? Wait, what were you using to render? Why would like Windows Defender like nuke your memory when you're trying to render a video? That's whack. Like, why isn't keep building turned on by default? Because you have to enable it when you start a new save, right? Click on... so Bingus in the YouTube chat says, what DF hack commands can I use to befriend or recruit animal people on my embark location? Click on them, open DF hack, like open up the character screen, open DF hack and type in make own. M-A-K-E-O-W-N, one word. Yeah, clearly. Likely on-axis file scanning? Wild. Wondershare Filmora. I have no idea what that is. No idea what that is. I really want an option, Brown Bear, to just have a hotkey on it. Kind of like why no petitions screen. You know, I know this is a me problem, chat, but when a petition pops up in Dwarf Fortress, what do? Do you immediately accept it and then forget about it? Or do you let it sit there? Because I let it sit there as like a to-do list, and I accept it when it's done. And I've kind of always played that way. But yeah, there should be an active petition screen. Like, maybe just make it stop blinking until you've completed it or something, but leave it there. We're building a big bridge. The big bridge. It's a pretty good editor that was cheap. Sure. Fair enough. I have no familiarity with it. You let it sit there most of the times. Sometimes you accept it early. You're like a close all your tabs kind of person. Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish it didn't blink, but like, I just let it sit there until like I'm basically actively making the zone. So this is a giant bridge that we're building. The actual fort itself is on a very, very tall mountain. The point of this fortress is to explore and mess around with different dyes from the new dye system, which we were messing around with a lot the first few streams, but I've slowed off a bit. I'll probably get back into that soon. We've got our first pseudo-military-ish squad, which I think probably needs a break from training pretty soon, so I can get another one up here in training, but I need to get some more metal armor today. My main plans and or goals for the day are to expand the military, finish the bridge, and start working on this. This is going to be a battle arena, but I want it to be a bit more structured looking, and it's going to be carved out of the side of this mountain. Oh, that's why I've never heard of it. You're editing on oh wait, for a second there I thought you were editing on a phone. You're editing on like a laptop then, yeah? Because, like, eh. This is going to become a fight arena for monsters. That's my plan. And that's kind of the main theme of this fortress. And I'm thinking either over here or maybe like in front of it here, I'm going to build some sort of multi-layer tavern thingy or library where the dwarves can watch. I'll make sure that they don't actually see the fighting, just so it doesn't destroy their minds. But I'm going to make monsters fight there. That's my goal. So today is going to be a bunch of construction of that, and if we get far enough, maybe breaching the caverns. Otherwise, we'll be breaching the caverns tomorrow. We do have one thing that we've caught, though. We caught an Etten. So it's the first thing. Caught an Etten. It's pretty good. We're in an ad break, so I'm not going to unpause until the ads are done. This is the top of the fortress, but we can move down. If we go down, I've got a few layers in a ramp going down here into kind of the main construction area for the fortress, which is down and in here. If I move a few more layers down, we have like a farming spot and quadrillion turkeys, which I should probably actually just go in here and go and do this. I'm probably slaughter a lot of the adults actually, because I have 1 trillion turkeys. The turkey population outnumbers the hordes. It's also the first fort in a while I've had cats in. Another thing that's been coming along nicely is the spiral main entry. These green blocks are all malachite, which is the ore of copper. Same with those bridges. And I'm basically just going to build this out into a long corridor. This will be probably the main entrance to the fort consistently. I might allow that bridge to also be an entrance. I'm not sure, but this is currently the entrance to the fort. Down here are some bedrooms, but if I click on one and click this button, all of these dwarves that don't have has quarters don't currently have bedrooms. So I desperately need to catch up to this and get everybody bedrooms. The fortress does have 2 vampires in it, and I felt bad, so I gave them their own tavern. So this dungeon is technically overlapping a tavern. So they're basically just sitting here and socializing and hopefully becoming friends or something. Nope. But they're just sitting there socializing and chatting, and telling stories and listening to stories. So hopefully they're keeping themselves somewhat entertained. They'll be there forever. And then down here we have, ooh, you don't see that very often. We've got dwarves playing music in the public, anything goes temple. So this is kind of the non-denominational temple. Down here we have 1, 2, 3 different requested temples, including an artifact door. Up here we have all of our tombs. I do need to make a slab for that one, which is Saigon Cybrick. And we also have the rest of the majority of our bedrooms down here. Some of them are in varying levels of completion. This is the Silky Rim, which is our Craftsdorf shop, which has how many members? Oh. That needs to be bumped up to higher value, because it's got more than 25 members. So I should work on that. Add that to the to-do list, I suppose. If I go up, or sorry, not up, down, we'll move into this, and then that's where all of the lower level stuff is. This is going to also slowly expand. And then we can go down through. This is the reservoir access for my well. That's actually my well down here. I had someone get stuck in it, so we had to drain it, but it's fine. We got the body out. They drowned. It was horrible. And then if we go further down, you can see some of the microcline. And then there's this long hallway, which goes down to where I'm farming, where we are farming above ground crops, as well as a buttload of sheep. Bingus, thanks for becoming a YouTube member. Appreciate you. How do you catch vampires without cheating? The first one, I just kind of interrogated people until we found a witness, and then they confessed to the murder. I want to say it was Mistum? Yeah, this was the first confession we got, was from Mistum. They looked a little suspicious. And then the second one ate somebody in the middle of, like, my open crafting area here, who was, like, sleeping in this stockpile. and there was 35 witnesses. So the second one was pretty easy. That first one took a little bit more legwork, and they killed several unnecessary dwarves, like dwarves that didn't need to die, but unfortunately is what it is. You've just reverted back to the 2x2 grid? Nah, just pause for a bit and draw bedrooms, like I'm gonna do right now. I mean, right now, how many more bedrooms do I need? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I need about 20. So let's build about 20 bedrooms. But I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with just making grids. If they work, don't fix it. Just do it. Do the thing that is comfortable and fun, because the thing that I say, well, the thing I'm going to say here, Dwarf Fortress is a game that can be really tedious if you let it be. And some people enjoy some tedium. Some people don't. If you don't enjoy the tedium, or if you don't enjoy the process of what you're trying to do, that's going to make the game less enjoyable. And if the game's less enjoyable, you're kind of defeating the whole point. So if you get more enjoyment from the immediate completion of the task and just getting shit done quickly and saving time, live your life, enjoy your video game. Like, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is a perfectly viable method of playing Dwarf Fort. Personally, I like to methodically keep things in fashion, but even I will, like, give up on certain things, right? Like, I will pretty consistently start off making nice tombs like this, and then equally consistently give up when, like, a bunch of dwarves die all at once and never catch back up. You know, like, we all have our habits, we all have our things we like to do and things we don't like to do and things we give up on immediately when struggles arise, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just part of playing weird video games like this. And I'll also say, if you personally built something, you will see all of the things that you deem as imperfections. You see all of the things that you wish that you made better. When you look at somebody else's form of creative expression, it's very easy to be like, oh man, I never thought of doing that, or man, why didn't I do that? Or I could have done that and that would have looked so much nicer. I wish I did that. And it's very easy to, like, beat up your own creativity. Like, I think I mean, the classic saying, right? We are our own worst critics. I think that goes tenfold when it comes to anything that's, like, creative. And that's really what this is at a point. Like, it is kind of a creative game in a lot of ways. And because of that, it's very easy to look at somebody's forts like mine, or somebody like Krug Smashes, or somebody like, I don't know, Von Galactics, or any, or even like Deep Space. Anybody else who makes forts and shares them publicly, or somebody who posts them pictures on a Discord and be like, man, why didn't I think of that? Oh, I could have done that. That would have looked so much nicer. This person's so much better at the game than me. No. They just work slightly differently creatively. They might be playing the game in a way that you would find insufferable to play. That's all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13. I'm also, like, very close to making all of the bedrooms we're going to need because we're almost at the population cap, so that's fun. Sorry, that was a little bit rambly, but hopefully that made some sense. Hopefully somebody got some value out of that. But I've also noticed that kind of a good number of people have gotten into the game recently. So if you pick the game up in the last little bit, have you had any interesting happenings? Or maybe you've just been playing the game and you've been around here for a while. What's some fun stories that you've encountered recently in the Dwarfosphere? Because for me, I'll be honest, my favorite little tale in this fort is just all of the random dwarves that have dozens of kills from various goblin locations. Like, I'm kind of... It's been a while since I've been excited to finish a fortress and then get into adventure mode and see what else is going on in the world, because this seems like a neat one. I mean, I've got a lot of dwarves with like random legendary skills that definitely are not vampires, that have like skills in combat that don't want to be in combat, which you don't see very often, that have killed like 40 goblins. Arrive simultaneously? Had you explored the entirety of the cavern layers? Cricket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's probably plenty. Although this needs one less doorway in it. Although there's a lot of digging jobs that need to be done. They're locked out of them right now for other reasons. Okay, because sometimes like a forgotten beast can wander on the map, but if you haven't exposed all of like the darkened areas, like the areas that the line of sight is obscuring, sometimes they will just suddenly pop out of those like shadowy areas and then seemingly appear out of nowhere. Which can certainly be an issue. The named dwarves in the fortress, by the way, are Nut Dealer. And you want to know why he's named Nut Dealer? Well, Nut Dealer randomly became the abbot of the Cult of Canyons, which is worshipping Akil, which is the god of mountains. Now, this dwarf's last name is Merchant Nuts, and I thought that was funny. So that's it. Darius, I'll give you a name in a sec. We got Blazon, Snail, we got Agamemnon, we've got Freeways, we've got Bone Doll, we've got Metroid, some Otters whose spouse passed away. How are you hanging in there, actually? Doing all right, considering Otter Jr. is the only one left. Rest in peace. No new friends, though. Aside from panicked after being attacked and wanting to be around family. You're very satisfied after improving dying, which is very good. I'd love to see it. We've got Mistum, my vampire. Yep. One of two. Bear, who is a werebear. Which is, you know, unfortunate. Or unfortunate. As I scroll down, Dwarf Lobster, Tiny, Grazia, Krav, Bismuth, 83, Amethyst, who's cutting gems. Even though she's a fish cleaner, I swear she's cutting gems. We've got Moreb, we've got Potpourri, the second. We've got a legendary Gelder, apparently. We've got Esvin, Server Lord, lots of dyers in this fort. Mina, Romanoid, Dulcan, Gig, my mayor, who was quite pissed off and has gotten less pissed off. We got Unk. We've got Sage. And Sweaty Poet, who's one of my favorite dwarves in this fort. Sweaty Poet wrote a poem called The Cracked Lover and has a husband and 2 lovers, and she's my captain of the guard. She's also very, very good at talking and very funny, apparently. Schmitty Sent, and Tom the Turkey, and Pilot. And as I scroll down, we've also got Sweaty Jr., the kid of Sweaty Poet, and Neezer. That's everybody. That's not quite how it works, Fleshman Foo. So Darius redeemed a thing where they get to name somebody. And it's also good to know that you're Kronos, though. I do know who that is. It's every 25 minutes. Did your broker die? No. You missed me saying it. I think I missed reading it, actually. Edict is also still alive. I'm not perfect at reading. Poobert's also still alive. So that's not quite how it works. Basically, the way you get a name for a dwarf is you get 500 channel points, and then every 25 minutes you can name one. Otherwise, I would just be naming dwarves nonstop forever. And just have to be like, nah, which is just rude. They arrived across 3 layers and 2 of 4 were already injured. Wow, it's always interesting when things arrive injured. I remember once I had an outpost liaison arrive on the map and then immediately die. Of like God knows what. You struggle with putting seeds back in your stockpile after planting. The processing of the crop seems to help some, but it's pretty tight on how I have to assign stockpiles. Does the kitchen help? The kitchen destroys seeds when things are cooked. Farmers, workshops, processing plants will extract seeds, and brewing drinks extract seeds. So basically you need to have like a constant churn of brewing and processing if you want to maintain a steady seed supply. If you're cooking, you will destroy your seeds. And then Darius just wants a dwarf with a beard. I do sometimes, in regards to dwarves, raffle dwarves out to the YouTube folks, but on the Twitch side of things, it's basically like every 25 minutes I'll name a dwarf. I used to do the if you just popped into chat and asked, I would give you a dwarf thing ages ago, but the result usually ended with just like every dwarf would be named, and it would just be people that would tune in, name a dwarf, and then not talk in the chat ever again. Which, I don't know, I kind of want people to try for it a little bit. There are some other ways of getting them. Like tier 2 subscribers can skip the line basically and name, not quite whenever, because that command also has a cooldown, but there is a command for tier 2 subs, but... And also, Ashku, if you go to the labor screen and you go to kitchen, I would just forbid cooking of anything that you don't want to get, I should also actually peruse some of these. Anything that you don't want to get the seeds destroyed of. Although, if you're me, I'm specifically cooking a lot of seeds so that I can like still have food variety. Also, you may want to disable cooking of alcohol, which is usually on by default. Surface plants are also quite a bit harder to maintain than plump helmets. I don't know. You are in charge of your own life, Ice Blue. All right. Darius is obsessed with order and structure in his own life, with everything kept in his proper place. Builds square fortresses. And he is given to flights of fancy, and to the point of distraction. He can be very happy and optimistic, and he has a low sense of self-esteem. He dislikes helping others and often acts with compassion. He doesn't often feel envious of others, and he tends to share his own experiences and thoughts with others. Sometimes he can act with little determination and confidence and can handle stress. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and dreams of mastering a skill. Personally, he is put off by family, respects perseverance, and finds maintaining decorum silly and a fumbling waste of time. He does not really value skills related to fighting, but dreams of mastering a skill. And he likes conglomerate and Billin, as well as zircon and gems, and crutches and sheep for their tendency to flock, and the sound of the fabulous euphoria, and when possible prefers to consume thornback ray and radish wine, and can't stand toads. I like toads, so disagree. I was watching a lot of Sherpa design videos last night while eating dinner. I like toads. Toads are cute. What if dwarfs like rhomboid forts more than square forts? Only hexagonal forts will do. What, the investments things? Tiny Hippo, type an exclamation point tickets to see how many you have, and you can invest the ones that you have for a chance to win more. But you'll probably just lose them. Oh, also, apropos of nothing, I had to run to the store last night to, Sup, Jesus. I had to run to the store last night to pick something up from the shop. I needed bread. And while I was walking there, I saw a convertible with the roof up, and there was a cat in the convertible in the driver's lap. But the angle the cat was at completely blocked out the driver's face. And it was one of those where I really wish that I could have had my phone out and snapped a photo of this person, because it looked like the cat was driving a convertible. Also, sup, Huntress. So Ice Blue would like to give a dwarf to a Fleshman Fu. Would you like a dwarf with a beard or a dwarf without a beard? I think you said that you wanted to be Kronos, right? Because Ice Blue gives me more money than most people, so it has the ability to just give out dwarfs and wants to give you one. Yeah, beard. And you want it to be named do you want it to be Flesh of Manfu or Kronos? Kronos, okay. Meanwhile, Zulban the diner has created Goroth's Shithath. That seems like an insult, Shithath. Shit hath happened to thee. No, Goroth Shithath, a sleek sheep wool right glove, and offers it to the Mountain of Dyes. Thank you, dwarf. So this is now Kronos. Combined diamond is your last name. Take one diamond, combine it with other diamond, get bigger diamond. Be smart. Can get caught up in internal deliberations when action is necessary and tends to ask others for help with difficult decisions. And he likes to take it easy. He isn't given to flights of fancy. He often feels discouraged and he can handle stress. He does not have a great aesthetic sensitivity, and he is conflicted by this as he values artwork and its creation. He enjoys the companies of others and is somewhat quarrelsome. And he is bothered by this since he values friendship. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and likes working outdoors and grumbles only mildly at bad weather. He dreams of crafting a masterwork someday and respects the development of his skill. Believes that it is important to conceal emotions and refrain from complaining. And he likes saltpeter and aluminum, as well as brown zircon, green glass, coral, giant snapping turtle shell, gems, bolts, backpacks, and water buffaloes for their wallowing. Pond turtles for their shells and the words of the glimmer of velvet, and the sight of the shadow of rock. When possible, prefers to consume giant two-humped camel, beet plants, and rambutan wine, and absolutely hates moon snails. So I have a request, and also kind of a mini game for YouTube and chat, and Twitch chat. YouTube chat and Twitch chat. YouTube chat. Come up with, as a group, your favorite animal, and I will make 10 statues of that animal. Twitch chat, same for you. Come up with, like, between you guys, your favorite animal, and I will make 10 statues of that animal. Sup? I mean, it has to be an animal that exists in Dwarfort. Obviously. I should asterisk that. You're also meditating on wealth at the moment. You do have some friends in the fortress. You're a member of the Creed of Silver. I would really like to know why so many of the dwarves in this fortress absolutely just distaste moon snails. I'd love to know. There are, and they're evil. I got, like, chased and threatened by a marmot in real life. What are the ingredients of a savage banana soup, by the way? I'm gonna get this artifact put away. Just gonna go up here. Got a polar bear, giant skunk, monkey. I like dragon. Okay. Seems to be a lot of dragon. Also, or it's either dragons or cats from the YouTube side. They're the most photogenic creature. They really are. Maybe they're jealous of their beauty. Like that would make some sense. I could see that. So this is a sleek sheep wool right glove. Moon snails know what they did. Sure. SpongeBob probably has the deets. I'm waiting until I accidentally lock somebody in here and, like, starve them to death. Right. I need to make another temple. So this artifact... Oops. Oh, it's assigned. I didn't actually place it there. Now I just need to wait until they put it there. Ah, there you go. Kiddo's got it. So this is a sleek sheepwool right glove. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is studded with iron and encircled with bands of sheepwool. It is made from sheepwool cloth, and the thread is raspberry pink, superbly colored with raspberry dye. This object is adorned with hanging rings of sheepwool and menaces with spikes of sheepwool and malachite. On the item is an image of Autumnal Good, the short cave spider silk skirt in Chert. On the item is an image of Maffel Slaughterham, the dwarf in Chert. Cavies are useless. Yes, correct. The reason cavies are useless is because the only material they provide when you butcher them is a skull. Cats give leather and meat. That's a useful animal. Bunnies also only give a skull. So cavies and bunnies completely useless. So unless you're a totem fort, they're useless. So YouTube chat, what's your decision? Twitch chat, what's your decision? What's your favorite animal? What am I making into a statue? The only useful benefit for cavies is gelding practice. This is not a unanimous decision, YouTube chat or Twitch chat. More discussion must be had. YouTube chat has come up with dragons. So I will make 10 rock statues. I feel like Dolomite's a good dragon color. Let's make them out of Dolomite. And it's going to be a new image of a dragon. And it's going to be called the Fire of Lizards? Mons? B? The Fire of Vomit. There you go. Eh? Is there bleh-ing fire everywhere? I don't know. I could just call it the fire. How about actually this? Can I... The spit of fire. The spit of fire. I like that more. It's like the Spitfire. Actually, how about I do it this way? The fire spit's also pretty good. I could just name it the Spitfire. The Fire. Uh-huh. The Spittlefire. I think we'll go with that. We'll just call it the Spitfire. Because they spit fire. That's what wagon do. Did we start the fire? I can't do that many words. Kobolds are animals? I mean, so are humans then. It's okay. So YouTube chat. I'm gonna let you guys be the tiebreaker. I'm skimming through and I'm seeing a lot of pangolins, and I'm also seeing a lot of horses. So YouTube chat, you guys can be the tiebreaker. Is it pangolins or horses that I'm making for the Twitch chat? What do we think? It's on my VODs channel, Brown Bear. I don't post my entire streams on YouTube because I don't want to spam people's inboxes and front page feed. If you want to see my VODs, you can find them over at youtube.com/blindextras. It's much easier to playlist them, sort them, because I don't always stream just one thing in one stream. So in like an 8-hour stream, I might stream 2 games. And then you'd have like a random 4 hours of a different game at the end or some other combination. So I can cut them up better and trim them and sometimes even edit them. And then I post them on my VODs channel, which is at Blind Extras. I used to post full VODs on this YouTube channel and people got annoyed with it, so I stopped. Okay, so I think it's a pangolin is the decision here. Let's do a giant pangolin just so that the sprite's bigger. And we're gonna call it the armor. Oh. The armory. The armory of spikes. Pangolin. All hail Team Pangolin. And I got 2 things I gotta make. I gotta make a Weaver's Guild and a new temple. Jesus H. Christ. Okay, well, we'll do these bedrooms first, and then we'll get those done. It's basically a scaled otter. More or less. Well, sure. Are they even in the same family, though? I actually don't know what family a pangolin is in. In the cool animals that I don't think much about family, that's for sure. I once lost a fort to werepangolins. But yeah, it's literally just like a spam concern because I realize that a very small percentage of the people who watch my Twitch streams and my YouTube streams also watch the YouTube videos. It's like 2% of my YouTube audience watches my YouTube streams, apparently. Which I think is actually bad enough that it might be hurting me in the YouTube algorithm. Anyway, so because it's such a small percentage of the overall audience, it kind of doesn't really make any sense to me to like throw it on the same channel. I'd probably make more money if I did, but there's a couple things that I do where I'd probably make more money if I did, but I'd also kind of feel bad if I did, so thus I don't. Just waiting for these to all be set up with flooring so that I can go around and do this. We also need to wait for additional doors. This might actually be enough, though. I mean, let me tell you this. You say if you had a VOD channel. I've said this 4 times so far this stream, friend. Okay, allow me to educate you on what channel I has. This right here is my VOD channel. It's called Blind Extras. If you go to it, it's called @BlindExtras right here. There's a link in the YouTube stream description, and it has 5,000 subscribers, 5,500. And it does okay. So yes, I have a VOD channel. Just go watch it if you want to watch it. Here's a link for this discussion that happened. Why start new worlds when you can make new forts? Because then characters from previous worlds can show up. Like dwarves from previous forts can show up in new worlds or in new forts in the same world. Things that you do in adventure mode can be mentioned or referenced. You can have long-term impact on the same world. The world is persistent regardless of if your fortress falls. That's why you should keep playing the same fortress for a while. Or the same world for a while, rather. My terminology is getting all mixed up, which is very much not helping. But yes, playing the same world for a while helps you get to know the world, makes the world more consistent, gives you continuity, and is very much worth doing. In fact, I would actually say it's largely the main appeal of this game for me. Can you get a dwarf? Chat, you guys explain this one. You're gonna catch up tomorrow? Fair enough, mate. You snooze good. I don't actually know when it's off cooldown. It's off cooldown in like the next 90 seconds. But there's a redemption you have to grab. Otherwise, I wouldn't play the video game. I would just be naming dwarves for 30 minutes every single time. And then I wouldn't have time to actually read any of the descriptions. Which I value. Why did I start a new world for this? Because I'd played in the previous world for 11 forts and 15 plus adventurers, and there was new content that required you to generate a new world. And the world that I played right before this is a world from a year and a half ago that I played a bunch of forts in that I wanted to return to for some novelty, because you can always go back to old worlds if you want, but certain new features require you to generate a new world to have to have new things generated into them. In this case, it's the new dyes and plants. Also, that old world that I was playing is old enough that it didn't have the colored Forgotten Beasts. And I'd played in that old world for quite some time and, you know, was ready for something new. Why did I think that was a bedroom? I'm an idiot. I mean, I could use it as one, actually, but I kind of don't like the shape of it. Cheers, cheers. Dagaspuri. And also, it looks like Fleshman Fu sniped it and is giving it to you. Dagaspuri. So what kind of dwarf would you like? Would you like a dwarf with a beard or a dwarf without a beard? Did I specify the type of stone for the... I didn't. It's not too late, though. Ooh, let's use marble. Nah, let's use microcline. So we'll do microcline statues of a pangolin and dolomite statues of a dragon. Yeah, also one of the forts I played in the... Not the last fort that I did, but the world before the really old one, lasted for like a month and a half. It was like almost 2 months I played that fort. So I played that fort for like like half of spring and into summer. So like, yeah, I'm good on that world. I've seen pretty much everything there is out there. Oops, I clicked on the wrong dwarf. Running on automatic here. Bumwreck, the dyer. You are 86 years old. You have a child and you're married. Your child is a baby. What do you think of this? I always love it when they're upset about becoming a parent. I've seen bitter about becoming a parent before and like disillusioned after becoming a parent. But adoration after becoming a parent. Okay, so you like being a parent. He does not trust others, easily falls in love, rarely develops positive feelings. Easily falls in love and can develop positive feelings. He has a active sense of humor. He is quite cheerful. He tends to share his experiences and thoughts with others. He is somewhat uncomfortable around those that appear unusual or live differently from himself, and can handle stress. Doesn't tend to hold on to grievances. Isn't given to flights of fancy. Does not go out of his way to help others, and he has a tendency to consider ideas and abstractions over practical applications. He laughs in a distinct fashion when he's exasperated and needs alcohol to get through the working day. And dreams of mastering a skill, and personally greatly respects individuals that persevere through their trials and labors, and values independence. He likes horn silver, zinc, and dendritic agate, as well as the colors sepia, decahedron, helms, quivers, and rabbits for their ability to burrow, and giant honey badgers for their great size, and eggplants for their fruit. And when possible, prefers to consume maize beer, and pig's milk, and absolutely hates bark scorpions. You know, there's a brewery local to me that makes a maize beer. It's actually pretty good. It's a lager. All right. Let's just get the last of these set up with doors and beds and get these assigned so I can be certain that I have enough. And then we will move on to the guild halls that need to be made. Because just having bedrooms is enough. "23 bedrooms have been made. And I do this manually just so that I can see how many more I need to make. I just find it easier. It's a little bit more tedious. You don't need to do that. I just like to do it. And sometimes, like, hunters won't claim bedrooms because they just are supposed to sleep outside while on hunting trips, and they forget that they can get bedrooms if they want them. Yeah, these babies don't need bedrooms yet. What do you mean, do I get lost in the flavor? Ashchu in YouTube chat wants to know your settings and how you play the game. They play with the rarest minerals for the essential trading, and Hill Dwarves is how they tend to play. So, like, I guess that would mean closer to the surface. I like rare minerals generally. This world actually has slightly more common minerals than the last few forts I've played, for no particular reason other than I kind of felt like it this time around. I like interesting variety, so I like to change it up. I do enjoy trading, and I like having to import certain things. I don't like having everything on the map because it just kind of feels like I'm cheating, I guess. But I tend to change it up pretty dramatically from fort to fort as to how I build. This fort's pretty close to the surface because it's in a mountain. Often I'm further down, sometimes I'm further up. Oh, and the maze. I get it. Sorry, that like went whoosh over my head. Don't really have much in the way of things that I could distribute. We'll see what that does to the value. I mean, this is currently at what, 3,200? Yeah, I'll have to check back in on that. Over here, I've got a Weaver Guild. Okay, you know what? To just, like, solve this, you're the Silky Rim. We'll just deal with that. I need a Weaver Guild first. So let's do that. Because the Weavers are, like, kind of part of the main fortress, I think I'll put the Weavers Guild up here somewhere, maybe similar in location to this, because this is where a lot of my weaving is happening. So I'm thinking maybe like down here or over here, perhaps. Why don't I do it down here? Kind of like in this area. So the Weavers Guild could be like mostly conglomerate walls. Because that's also going to be something probably that's going to have a lot of work, is weaving. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in some flooring. I'm also going to have to give these dwarves like a break at some point because they're a bit overworked at the moment. There is, in fact, a Dyer's Guild. Yes, we already have one. It was the first guild that was requested. It's over here. Not all, like, guild production places have guilds associated with them, but a lot of them do. You know what? Let's just do Malachite for the middle of this. Also gonna place in some windows. They'll either get statues or grates, probably. Actually, how much charcoal do I have? 16. Let's smelt malachite. And just do 25. And make charcoal 100. I'm also going to do pig iron and steel. Parts. Bars. Just 10 and 10. Doing all right, Magu? Yourself? You do almost all hunters and create protection against large animals, which makes all your dwarves disciplined by the end, as well as insane marksmen. That would be really fun to do in the current era of how hunting and ranged combat works. That'd be interesting, actually. Okay, so this is going to be the gloved hall, which I'm going to approve. Once this floor is constructed, I will assign it. We need Steve Arts, yes. Along with a cup of cafefe. Managerial typos. Let's go. Didn't get much sleep because of the Metro Union elections? Gotcha. I'm not sure what's involved with that, but if you are in that union, I could believe it. I didn't get much sleep, not last night, but the night before because of construction going till midnight. But as far as I can tell, they are damn near done on my street. Like, they basically just need to repaint stuff, and I'm very happy about that. Clother Weaver. There it is. So we just need to double the value of that, which honestly, these constructions will probably be enough. Let's do wall grates. No, that's a floor grate. I need wall grates. Let's also put a statue here and a statue there. You were a poll worker? Oh, that makes sense, yeah. So you volunteered? Well, best of luck. You're drinking mead and it's growing on you? Are you buzzing with excitement about this new drink you've discovered? Mead can be pretty good if it's good mead. It's one of those drinks I kind of wish was more accessible, but I'm also kind of happy isn't, because then I would drink it too much, probably. All right, so there's my new guild. We're still kind of lacking in tables in general, but I'm also gonna, I like the look of those wall grates, actually, so let's throw some wall grates up here. Oopsies. Although in this guild, I am going to throw a singular fancy chest. Let's see, is that high enough value? Yes, so that should be good for this one. The next thing I need is the Diamond Dominion. Denomination, not Dominion. Those words look the same to me. The Diamond Denomination. So I will dig out a chunk down here. And I will continue with my open-looking temple design. Aesthetic. It doesn't sting as much as it used to. I think that your meat is a little bit too fresh if it actively stings you. Or you might be allergic to honey. I actually had a friend years ago who was allergic to honey, and I always felt so fucking bad for him. Wall grates acting as windows. I don't have sand, and I'm encrusting all my furniture with gems, so we're using wall grates. What speed am I playing at? 60 flat. It's behind me. I used to keep my camera around here, but since I started using a green screen, it just looks better to connect me to the bottom of the screen. I will approve the Diamond Domination. What's crazy about you drinking it straight out of the hive is that the bees have survived the fermenting process. That's truly what's crazy. Fermented Bees is a great band name. Great band. That does sound like an indie pop group, right? Like, I feel like the Fermented Bees would open for Japanese breakfast. You know what I'm saying? Or even just Fermented Honey. It would be a pretty good, like, indie pop name. That or that's just like a sequel to a King Gizzard song. Meat for breakfast? I shouldn't. Don't spoil me. This is really the way that should go. You've eaten honey so fresh that you picked a bee out of it? The poor bee! It's like committing the world's greatest bank robbery. Just gonna, like, steal all of your food stores and make you what? Make you watch. Like distilled wasps followed by fermented bees? I mean, actually, that's just figs, right? I feel like the distilled wasps first, like, single should just be called Fig. Speaking of Fig, Gig has been re-elected. Unrelated. My mayor is still in charge. Also, for those of you who missed it yesterday, we had a major event in this fort. The expedition leader was killed by a werebear. So the High Chroma is no longer with us. She damn near killed it in the process, too. I mean, she hacked off most of its limbs. She put up a very good fight, and she shall be dearly missed. Let's do a copper offer, copper altar. Let's make 2 of them. And, make some malachite tables and thrones. Although I will say, I'm running kind of low on malachite. So I'm going to have to go mine some more. Let me just scroll until I find some. I'll say there's definitely more down here, but there's some. Also need to be careful, like, you know, not mine out my well. That would not be optimal for anything. Okay, so this done. Let's get this all designated up here. And I'm going to call this a temple. There's a lot of religions in this fort. This one. God of Jewels. We'll also go all the way around the edge here and dig out one more line. And I will put in, oops, actual walls. I realize I'm not reading the chat. I will catch up in a sec. Your mother recently went on a trip to Britain. She brought you back a small bottle of Lindisfarne? The oldest meadery in the world. Never heard of it. Sounds lovely, though. Also, username checks out because you're a Viking. I feel like Vikings drink mead, right? We do indeed. Yeah, there you go. It's like there are 2 things that I associate with mead in media, and that's Vikings and Robin Hood. Those are the 2 specific things that I associate with mead. So it's one of those. We're also about to get hit by an ad. When the ads pop, I will pause the game. So you shouldn't miss much. Why Robin Hood? Because Friar Tuck in the book is always making mead and talking about his next batch. He's a monk, right? So that's like I seem to recall like the first time he meets like it's Little John, right? Or whatever the big guy's named. I have not read that book in a very long time. But whenever when Friar Tuck first meets that guy, they like get into a fight and then make good by sharing mead. Large amber opal. I can put right there. I will put this offering place right here. Oh, whenever it's done. It's high enough value already, though, so the Holy Canyon... Holy Canyon! Is the, Emblem. Actually, let's make it into, some otters. Let's do that. It's now the Holy Canyon. There's also a Monastery of Vikings rated. Oh, well, even better. I mean, sounds like a Viking, a familial Viking raided it recently and purchased mead. Hardy, hardy, har cricket. Reminds you of a kid in high school who always shared stories of his days with, of his dad's mead process. Oh, fair enough. I mean, one of my moderators made a few jugs of mead during the pandemic, but he cheats. His family owns a grocery store, so he just, you know, goes to the honey aisle and just grabs a bunch of raw honey and checks it out as, like, his allowance. So, yeah. If I had easy access to cheap honey, I'd look into it, but never gonna do it because I don't have easy access to cheap honey. You know, I know very little about, like, Viking history. Like, I know, like, the broad strokes, but I don't know very many details. So a lot of that stuff's over my head. I know everything that I've learned from Power Metal, though. I presume that everything that Amon Amarth sings about is factual, right? And historically accurate. Anyway. Sitting on a few jugs of your homebrew mead, just waiting for them to clear. I feel like if I had homebrew anything, though, I would just drink all of it. Amon Amarth is an excellently rehearsed metal band. But I don't actually listen to Amon Amarth at all. But whenever they're in town, I will always see if I can go see them, because they put on a fucking phenomenal show. You know enough to get yourself in trouble. I mean, like, years ago, okay, so I live in Canada, right? Years ago, I used to collect stamps because that's a club that my parents put us in, and I think my parents were just interested in it. And there was a couple people in the stamp club that also collected coins and money, and I was aware of a dude who had a whole bunch of Confederate notes. So, like, being into history shouldn't be able to get you in trouble just because you are fascinated by or like something, in my opinion. It's still history. But some believe that there were prior smaller raids, but it's just documented. Yeah, I mean, being documented as, like, the first historically noted one. Sure. I listened to a cult leader. I mean, that could get you in trouble, depending on if you literally follow them. All right. Unless you're talking about liking 30 Seconds to Mars, in which case, ha! But that's all I have to say. And this dwarf knew where they were going because they brought their pet turkey. We already have so many turkeys. I guess that's another one for the pile. As the peregrine falcons fly by. 20-year-old peasant. His older half-sister lives here. Oh, so you're the actually person, is what you're saying, Egg the Viking? I mean, that's fine. It's like the Wikipedia editors. We need those. Those are useful. But I think there's nothing wrong with actuallying people when it comes to history. Oh, you get actually. Okay, sorry, I read that backwards. Well, I mean, again, not a problem necessarily. necessarily. The Kia is fighting with a child, a planter, a plump helmet, a fisher dwarf, a weaver, and a swords dwarf. That is... And a cat. That is an ambitious Kia. And it very clearly lost. 2 of them, actually. The mangled, mutilated Kia corpse. I shouldn't be laughing at that, because that's not funny, but, like... These dwarves get it. That's all I'm saying. Let's, hop, skip, and jumpy over to here real quick. And... any turkey that isn't named, that's an adult, it's just gonna be eaten. Checking in on the cloth supplies. Got a lot of those clothes. Same with these. That's nice. I think I'm gonna give these dwarves a wee bit of a break, actually. I mean, there's still plenty of tasks happening. But I'm just scanning around at everything that I had running. I think we're just going to pretty up these bedrooms. And then I think I'm just going to give these dwarves some rest. Because we're into midsummer, and I could just break until trading, pretty much. But we'll get all those turkeys butchered and these tasks done and a little bit more mining done, and then I'll stick everybody in a burrow and take the soldiers off duty and lock the doors, pretty much. I just want these bedrooms to have color accents and not be completely singular in their color. Mangled and mutilated, yep. Those dwarves just, like, bludgeoned it to death and then kept beating it after it died. And then let's go here. Let's just do some limestone instead. It's just color variety, that's all I want. Oh, there's one I'm missing. I should also dig through this. And I will go through and fix up all these walls at some point too, but that's not the highest priority at the moment. A research tree would probably ruin Dwarf Fortress for me if it gated buildings behind it. Snatcher Hardcore in YouTube chat. The lack of the tech tree is one of my favorite things about this game. There's also a KV boar, which I'm just gonna go pasture down here. Like, I've never really historically been a person who mods things out of Dwarf Fortress because I just don't like it. That's something I would mod out of Dwarf Fortress. If it limits buildings, specifically. So Snatcher's just like, no buildings. I would just say guns or cannons. That's what I mean. What if the first thing I want to build in a fort is a cannon? And then I have to, like, I don't know, build a research table and wait on 4 arbitrary years to build the fucking cannon? No, just let me build the goddamn cannon. The heck? I built the cannon in the last fort. These dwarves who just migrated here from the last fort should know how to build a cannon. Like, come on. Like, that's silly. I think your idea of how Dwarf Fortress is planning to do its development is pretty far afield of what the developers have planned. I would say it would be wise to just simply look at the development timeline and plans on the Bay 12 Games website. Snatcher Hardcore. Because I don't really want to just sit here and be like, well, this is how they're planning to do this, that, and the other. It's just kind of a waste of everybody's time. So I would recommend you just go do a little bit of reading. It would be unblocked based off the start date. So what you're saying is I can't play an I can't play a young world and have the same gameplay experience as an old world. I also dislike that, because then suddenly a whole chunk of a style of world is now limited to me because it's a less enjoyable experience for me. Don't agree with that at all. Anyway. You can get infected by xenomorphs? I think that's the sort of thing that should be limited to mods. Still. But, I mean, isn't that just kind of the Long Night in a way? I mean, there are aliens. Well, it's more like the Borg in the Long Night, actually. But versus xenomorphs. Okay, let's just go into here. Just unforbid all these. I'm also going to go into here, and I'm going to add in these. That's not why hero mode is unlocked. Hero, like, the adventure mode, like, what's it called? The adventure mode tutorial mode, which is the, like, you are a chosen, that's the word, is unlocked if there's a human city available with a big enough temple to accept the quest. That's not a unlock based on a progression system. It's a tutorial mode that exists if the parameters are available. Though that is not the same as a tech tree in the slightest. So I have to disagree with that completely. You're delving into your legends today for the first time in after your first decade of North America map, and the fort has been tremendously successful and you want to start a new one? Neat. This is the Steam version, yes, Buff, in YouTube chat. Although I think I'm being abducted by aliens is a terrible idea, too. I mean, if it's interestingly, like, included. You know, I never played the 1.0 version of that game, Stone. A War T-Rex? You need to send that thing to the clinic and get those warts removed, then. That would be very unhealthy for that poor War T-Rex. All right, I'm going to enable my burrow. Dwarves, it's Thunderdome time. Enter the Thunderdome for maximum fun in Der Dome. And I'm just going to go up here and remove just about everything from here. And just about everything from there. So they'll keep hauling boulders, but that's about it. And food's still available because I haven't rebuilt the kitchens yet. The kitchens are going to go back here probably. How goes the fort? Pretty good. Where do cats keep disappearing under the bedroom? You're going to need to be a bit more... You're going to need to elaborate a little bit more on that. What? I don't know what you mean by cats do keep disappearing under that bedroom. What? We're about to have a lot of party sounds, I think. Because these dwarves all seem to know the same music. Area with the tavern on the left. You mean here? They're going in and out of the fort, probably? That's probably what you're thinking? Because they're not disappearing under that bedroom, if that's what you're seeing. They're going in and out of the fortress. Any dwarf will do? No preference of beard or not? How's that? Style like me. How you doing, Walls, by the way? What'd you think of JHC? Do it. Sand in it. Sly is not the type to fall in love or even develop positive feelings. It's very curious. She is very curious and... Oh, wow. She's not the type to develop positive feelings. She is very curious, sometimes to her detriment. She is moved by art and natural beauty, and she is troubled by this, and she dislikes the natural world. She tends to avoid any physical confrontations and works to square this natural tendency with her respective martial prowess. I completely lost my spot. She is quite comfortable with others that have a different appearance or culture, and she does not easily hate or develop negative feelings. She is slow to anger after seeing Saigon's dead body. She tends to be somewhat quarrelsome. She is bothered by this, since she values friendship. She rarely feels discouraged. She has a noticeable lack of perseverance. She finds this troubling. She values perseverance. What an interesting dwarf. She needs alcohol to get through the working day and does not mind being outdoors, at least for a time, and is getting used to tragedy. Dreams of mastering a skill, personally sees the idea of fair dealing and foolish, and cheats whenever she finds it profitable. She has a great deal of respect for worthy craftsmanship, and she thinks that the pursuit of skills of warfare and fighting are a low pursuit indeed. She respects individuals that persevere through their trials and labors and finds those that deny their impulses somewhat stiff and dreams of mastering a skill. This squad up here, I'm going to take off of this, cancel the training order, and actually take them off duty. And tell them to stop sleeping up here. Probably gonna play it again. Neat. Wasp links to here also? What do you mean? As in watches this stream? I mean, I've known about Wasp for a while, so. It's interesting to see folks in different areas. What I think is really cool is whenever I'm watching a stream, like, don't judge me. I had Hassan's stream up not too long ago, and I saw a beer fly by at like 150 miles an hour. I was like, whoa, it's a beer in the wild. Thanks to Canadian Pagan. I haven't seen Canadian Pagan in a minute. Actually, now that you mention it. I think this tavern needs an upgrade. I'm also seeing smears of river spirits. Because I got dwarves serving booze. Somebody, 2 drinks have been spilled, actually. This may actually mean it's time to get rid of the tavern keeper. So I'm a little worried it's going to start a fight. This dwarf basically just likes performances. It's like the only thing that gives her happy thoughts in life. Everything else makes her upset. It's usually what happens when you just have a lot of people in the tavern and a tavern keeper serving drinks. This place is also pretty busy. There's just so many turkeys fucking everywhere. Hold on, just let me, like, get these turkeys put away. I'm gonna put the turkey into the Thunderdome. The turkeys into the Thunderdome. So we can, like, repasture them, because there's just so many. And they keep getting born. Holy shit. Oh, those are kittens. I may also put a cage in here and actually just sell a bunch of turkeys. Because our turkey breeding program has been so successful, we might as well sell some of them, right? So many turkeys are getting put away. Like, oh my god. Such turkey. Also, I wonder, if I go up to the top here... Ah, must have a stockpile for clothing. Such a busy tavern. I feel like this tavern just needs more bedrooms. You saw your little that in the GDQ chat once, and you were like, "My boy." Yeah. Apparently, it's a pretty close line between Crypt Beer, Crypt Pog, and Wambler, and Undulates for emotes that are used outside of my stream. Which I think is funny, because for a really long time it was Crypt Blank. But I think Undulates just gets quietly used a lot outside of my channel. People just use it for a lot of different things, which is neat. Considering, I think, Elfie drew it, and then it was just a... Hey, can we make that Nodima? It is pretty good for dance spam, yeah. You get a lot of your... I feel like that might happen a bit more if you're like a dwarf-adjacent person. Like if you watch dwarf streams or if you stream dwarf ever, that probably would happen a lot more. Zul'Ban! The Weaver withdraws from society. I'm just going to take Zul'Ban out of this. I don't know which Zul'Ban it is, so... that one. So this one can go back in. Let's follow the strange mood. Pog, Beer, and Rambler. Wambler. Wambler is the one that you forgot. Is Dancer an occupation? It can be. Come on. A quarry, a forest, rough gems. Okay, I need rough gems. Okay, I definitely have that. I have any rough gems? I've got plenty of rough gems. Could be leather. Oh, actually, it could be cut gems. It's bizarre. Why is that not available? Oh, right. I'm stupid. There we go. Did I not remove you? I don't know. Weird. You grab turkey leather. Cool. But of course, it's turkey leather. Stacked leather. What do you need next? A forest. I'm just gonna turn that on. But you're not in the burn. Okay, weird. That's a combo you like to do sometimes? Crypt Gun's pretty high up there too. I think it just gets comboed with a lot of rando emotes, actually. I did get a $10 tip the other day through PayPal. It depends on how you used it, or like what link you used. Not all of them have pop-ups. Like if you went through, what's it called? If you went through Streamlabs, there should have been a pop-up, but if there wasn't, I should look into that and see if it's broken. And if you went through Coffee, there wouldn't be one. But I did get one the other day. Hold on, let me just take a peek at Streamlabs. It's entirely possible something's busted with Streamlabs, because I very rarely get direct tips. Oh, yeah, apparently the notifications for them are disabled, so that's on me. I will rerun the last tip that I got. Yep, I see it. What would be this? I presume. From a few days ago. The Weaver has created Remalis, a churred amulet, and claims it as a personal treasure. This is a churred amulet. All craft store ship is of the highest quality. It is decorated with turkey leather and alpaca wool and pear wood. This object is adorned with hanging rings of turkey leather and menaces with spikes of chert. On the item is an image of Sorry, it also has marble and milk opal. On the item is an image of Olon, the dwarf, and dwarves in Milk Opal. Olon is surrounded by the dwarves. Domain Steel is his last name. The artwork relates to the ascension of the dwarf Olon Domain Steel to the position of Baroness of the Strategic Boots in 2H2. On the item is an image of a caper bush, not a copper bush. A caper bush in turkey leather. And that's your personal treasure, that amulet. You know that explosion sound too well. I'm glad. Actually, I will just leave this locked. Chat, I've been streaming for 3 hours. I need to use the washroom. You guys watch the dwarves party. I'll be right back. All right. You know that explosion sound? It's like Roller Coaster Tycoon /1 and 2, and I think also Transport Tycoon. Like explosion crash sound. The train sound in those games. I've heard in multiple other games. Oh, speaking of things I've heard in multiple other games, there is a duck quacking sound in Stalker Call of Pripyat, which is the duck caller sound and duck quacking sound in Hunter Call of the Wild. And the first time I heard the duck quacker sound in Hunter Call of the Wild, I almost burst out laughing. It's like whack, whack, whack. It's very, 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 very distinct quacking. There's also, like, I think it's the level up sound in the run-based FPS Ziggurat 2, and also the door opening sound that I've just heard in, like, dozens of games. It's definitely, like, a common library. It's like a hit sound. That's like a ding thing. Do you have any, like, video game sounds or assets that you see a lot, and then, like, whenever you encounter it, it like shuts your brain off for a second. You're like, what the fuck? Because that happens to me kind of a lot, actually. Dark Souls parry sound? Yeah, what is the Wilhelm scream of video games? It might actually just be the Wilhelm scream, right? Did I ever play Zoo Tycoon back in the day? I played it back in the day, and I also played it kind of recently. And I have to say, Zoo Tycoon is it's like actively terrible. It's not good at all. Like, there's definitely some nostalgia there. But like, I've played good games from the past, and I've also played games that then don't age well when you go back. Also, I will be back in 2 seconds, chat. I just gotta do something. Andre, the regular guy. Thank you for the 14th month. Welcome back, mate. Kind of like going back and watching TV shows you loved as a kid. I don't know, Hogan's Heroes is still pretty fucking funny. I think it depends on the show. Some age better than others. Chat room, can I get a round of beers for Andre for the 14th month? Welcome back, dude. You know, it's kind of funny. I can, like, tell that summer is kind of coming to an end. Like, as in, school season is starting soon, because I'm seeing people again that I haven't seen in a really long time. That's what I was waiting for. The trading caravan has arrived. Which means I can turn that off. And go up here. And we can sell everything that's used. And lower value. I'll actually just sell all of the large gems. Let's also go... That is a lot of radish plants, man. Should also definitely put that amulet away. It's a lot of very fancy figurines. We'll sell all those. And I'm also going to go down to this, unlock this, and go here, and place that. It's going to ruin your commute. I'm sorry. Historically, the summer is the slow season for me because a lot of the people who watch my stream have kids. And so they're busier in the summer. And also people are just busier in the summer. But because I don't have a younger skewed audience, for people who do, they tend to get more views and traffic in the summer because kids are out of school and watch more. But because I have a more grown-up audience, summer is the slow season for me. That too, yeah. No, people just tend to go outside in the summer. That's pretty much on the ball. All right, that's done. Today seems kind of quiet, but I am starting to feel the difference again, which is nice, to be honest. Gotta get these dwarves out of here. That should be a higher value. What? Where? How are you not a Grand Guild Hall? You should 100% be a Grand Guild Hall. Yikes. That's probably why so many dwarves are not thrilled in the fort, to be honest. Alright, dwarf, I need you out of here. You're in the Silky Rim. God damn it. You're out. Pull that. All right. Now I can turn off the burrow. And I'm also going to go to here and get rid of all of these paused tasks, which means they will get reinstated in a moment, and we can get back to work. Fort is now back in action. Cat stuck inside? What? Oh well, it's fine. It'll figure its way out eventually. Cats don't starve to death, so it just lives there now. Let's also check bars on this. Making copper thrones and about to start up steel breastplates again. So I should have a decent amount of steel now. 24. Mine called us adults. I mean, you know what I mean. Come on. You're not playing Roblox is what I'm saying. Actually, you might be. I don't know. Roblox scares the shit out of me, though, so happy I dodged that content bullet, let me tell you. Is there a game that you ever just not got into that you had a bunch of people telling you should get into, and you're happy you didn't? Because that's me in Roblox, and I'm not even, like, saying that because, like, jokes. Like, legitimately, there was a period there where I knew some people who were getting into Roblox a while ago because it was bringing in a lot of views. And they were like, hey, you should get into Roblox. And I was like, everything about this game is repulsive to me. I have no interest in this. Thanks. And admittedly, they all got pretty big doing it, so maybe it was a good call. I don't know. But I'm happy I didn't. I'm rebuilding my kitchen in game. Palworld? Fortnite, yeah. You like the indoor windows? Thank you. I kind of forget about Palworld kind of a lot. It scares you too? Yeah. My problem with Roblox, aside from like the like not even counting the moderation issues, is I really worry that it's like if all of your gaming experience is Roblox, that might actually be the thing that kills this hobby in a lot of ways. Like, as we know it anyway, is if the only exposure to video games you have is like the worst types of over monetization schemes designed by children for children to min-max money out of children, why would you want to keep playing video games? Like, I feel like that's one of the fastest like ways to ruin video games for yourself. I mean, hey, live your life, Cricket. Live your life. I mean, there's been some cool things that have come out of Roblox. I mean, wasn't Unturned a Roblox game originally? Pretty sure it was. I should remove radishes. Those considered seeds? There we go. Because radish plant should go probably over here, actually. Actually, I should just make a new stockpile. Radish plant, raspberry bush, maybe under fruits, right? Raspberry, not raspberry plant. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Just move those over there. And then this up here can just get gotten rid of. It's all just going to shift down there. Can you make radish wine? Yeah, you can, but I'm using it to make dye. So I'm using it for other things. But yes, you can make radish wine. And because I don't want that, there we go. Bins in this stockpile are kind of redundant. I'm gonna go kitchen. These are also just going to slowly get redistributed over here because these are a whole lot of raspberry. And a whole lot of radish. Yeah, it's okay. That stuff will all just get moved eventually. They're redistributing it. Tried assigning individually, but you can't differentiate between identical places. So I keep reassigning the same stuff to different dwarves when I go down the list. Wait, what? You're having a bit of trouble and you can't find help online. Your military squads keep rejecting your assigned gear. I can't seem to figure out why, but every time I update their equipment... Every time I updated the equipment, I tried assigning them individually, but you can't differentiate between identical pieces. Are they set to ready or training? Or to, like, equip their gear? Because they will steal each other's gear if they're not set to training to use it. So, like, if they aren't assigned to have their gear equipped, I think we're about to hit the population cap. If they aren't assigned to have their gear equipped, they will not be able to maintain ownership of their gear. That's all I can really think of, Frank Blank. If anybody in chat has any ideas that they could add on to that, let me know. Because you have a siege parlaying right now. Okay, so instead of refreshing their gear, just tell them to all go stand something. What are they rejecting? Is it like popping up as red? Is it popping up as yellow? Like, what is the notification you're getting? Also, a little bit of a quiet day today. Did a big game release recently? I know that, like, Silksong is coming up, so probably a lot of people are playing that, but the last 2 streams have been a little quiet in the Twitch chat side of things. So thanks to those of you who are tuned in. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I got a lot of raspberry bushes that need to be dealt with. And this brewery needs to be moved down here as well. So I will, I think, start just building up this way. With spaceship building? Is it weird that I'm like kind of shocked that they didn't already have that in that game? Like, are you saying those words out loud makes me just go, wait, they didn't have that yet? What I would say is usually if stuff starts to break, Frank, my default thing I do is I delete what I've made and remake it. So like if dwarves aren't equipping the right gear, I will delete the uniforms that they're using, get rid of the custom ones, and then make a new one. And just restart. That tends to usually fix things up for me. There's now spaceships where you can walk inside. Oh, cool. I know. I know that there's still occasionally the person who's like mad that about No Man's Sky's existence. I'm happy that No Man's Sky like managed to make it. Like they got so royally fucked by Sony's marketing. Like, I don't know. You know, a lot of people are playing Hollow Knight before Silksong. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like about a week ago, we had quite a few more people tuning in just at the end of the day statistics, but today and yesterday, a little quieter. I mean, what's the point of pre-ordering a digital game? It's not like there's limited amounts. Bumblebee Venom. Nice. No Man's Sky was the poster child for it? Sure. But, you know, you can say that all you want. And you could also say, eat veggies and drink water, but people are still going to drink Pepsi. It's just how it is. I don't think that the game being released when it was released is the fault of No Man's Sky, though. That's the fault of Sony, who was doing their marketing. Last game you pre-ordered was Skylines 2, so you're guilty yourself. Yeah? How is Cities Skylines 2? Has that game gotten better? Or is it still in a bad state? I actually haven't looked at that game in forever. Like, basically since it came out. Just opening up Steam page. Wow, it's still mixed. I almost read what you said there, Enemy, though, as Skyrim 2. They're coming for me, chat. There's a Kia head on the ground. Ay, ay, ay. It's like I'm trying to figure out why these dwarves are getting upset, and then I'm just like noticing like, oh, there's just like bits of dead Kia kind of everywhere. It's probably got something to do with it. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do... Let's just make bone crafts. I think I'm just gonna get some garbage disposal up and running because I'm trying to like upgrade, quote unquote, my kitchen here. So why don't I do a stairwell, stairs all the way to theirs. Not stairs, like just a place to walk. And then dig this out down here and make this into food storage. And also an area for butcher shops. And then we could do some sort of disposal. Maybe not directly here, but close around here. If you're generating using the, not the default settings, but the default advanced world gen settings, yes, that's pretty common. Because there's a few changes to like how land masses generate and the frequency of evil areas. So evil oceans are pretty common if you're using the base line evil gen settings. It's not going to get any more DLC at this point. Oh, really? Has Paradox instructed the studio to move on or something? I'm going to hold off on becoming nobility until I've at least hit the caverns. The game wants me to be nobility still. I changed a few things about this embark. It's also really high elevation, so yes on both fronts. They're done with the core game improvements. So you just contradicted what you said. You said it's not getting any more. Oh, I see. I see. It's not getting any just more DLC. I missed the just part. Okay, I get it. Yeah, that kind of blows. I think World Gen went into the VODs on the YouTube video. It might not have. This world is available for download if you want it, though. Banadequate. It's on my Discord. In the DF save sharing room. Like, this is what the actual embark size looked like. I increased rain flow, and also, what's the word? I tossed in a, I selected a setting which is occasionally erode sheer cliffs, which is on by default, and I deleted that, turned it off. So cliffs are more sheer, meaning like traversing mountains in adventure mode would be a fucking pain in this world. But it makes for really cool mountains, so. Worth it. As far as I'm concerned. California Ninja Lawyer in YouTube chat. That feeling when I made a tavern and a fishing zone at the bottom of a waterfall and all the corpses over time drove people insane. Like, corpses from your dwarves falling in or just random animals falling down the waterfall? And Zalvi, it has been a minute. What you been up to? I'm okay. Doing all right. Not great. Not terrible. A lot of weird brain stuff lately, but Getting by. How about yourself? I am currently upgrading the kitchen up here. And also the butcher shop and the tavern. Ben Adequate, thank you very much for that tier 1 subscription. Appreciate you. Check, can I get a round of beers? For that brand new tier 1 subscribe. Started a fort that is going to be great, except for all of the grazer animals hanging around the tavern and starving. I mean, why don't you just stick them in a spot to graze? Are you somewhere where they can't graze or something? Or just butcher them. I don't know, just eat them. Just get ahead of it. They can't starve if they're already dead. You know? And to apply and move to a new country. Can I ask what country you're moving to? Yeah, I could understand why that would be some stress. Is this something that you've been planning for a bit, or is this just like something that you've decided to do recently? Thinking about Cyprus. Why Cyprus? So when people say Cyprus, I think of Mount Cyprus, which is like an alright ski hill in the lower mainland Vancouver. And then I remember that there's a country called Cyprus. But why Cyprus? I mean, it's insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain! Or, sawed-off shotgun hand on the pump. Whatever the lyrics of that song are. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You're in Greece and it's easier to transition than something completely abroad. No, makes sense. Interesting, though. The tax dodge country. I mean, that's like the equivalent of a streamer moving to Nevada in regards to tax dodging, but there is something you just can't understand, Viking. I mean, how I could just kill a man. Sorry, this is we're just like Salvi's just like, man, this is stressful. I'm thinking about moving to a new country, and we're just like spewing Cypress Hill lyrics. I apologize for my actions and for participating in this nonsense. Unrelated, but how I could just kill a man. Is that why there's a lot of streamers in Nevada? Because fucking income tax doesn't exist? And I, like, full mask off here. Cypress Hill Tiny Desk concert. Fucking incredible. Fucking incredible. Absolutely awesome. You thought of Rage Against the Machine first? Fair. Sure. Okay. I mean, Rage Against the Machine did cover a bunch of Cypress Hill. And how I could just kill a man is Cypress Hill, so. That happened? Yeah, most of the later stuff that Rage Against the Machine did was covers. At least in their later album. That's actually a very inaccurate statement. The last album they put out was a lot of covers. It's like 4 covers or something on that album. But there's usually at least 1 on each one, I think. Like the Renegades of Funk, yeah. Unrelated, but lights out! Guerrilla Radio! Turn that shit up! I know what I'm doing tonight. I'm gonna listen to that album. But anyway, I do hope you find work. Like, you know, when it comes to moving to tax havens, people can always be snarky on the internet, but like, hey, if there's opportunities, take it. Oh, the Tiny Desk concert. Yes, the Tiny Desk concert did happen. Cypress Hill did do a Tiny Desk concert, and it is incredible. I actually saw... I've talked about this before, but once when I was flying back from TwitchCon, I saw BeReal at a distance, who's half of Cypress Hill. And it was like him and like 4 dudes I definitely didn't recognize. And they were in the line at LAX for security. They were like, I don't know, a dozen people in front of me. I'm like, huh. Neat. You know, honestly, like, I know some people, like, mostly my parents, who, like, are vehemently anti-hip-hop. That Cypress Hill performance on Tiny Desk is, like, how you get your parents into hip-hop, is just show them that. Because it's, like, it's just funky and great. It's so fun. It's good stuff. All right. Get some more farming up in here. Let's just keep the radishes here. Why not? And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go right here and make a farm plant or 2 farmers' shops that are only going to take from this. And I'll just set them to process plants. Yeah, just throw it on in the background, you know? Just vibe with it. I love that this cat just watched a bunch of werebear blood off of themselves. The hell, man? Choose what stockpile to take items from here. And you. Here. And then also 0 general work orders, 0 general work orders. And I also probably desperately need more barrels, right? Nope, I just don't have any plants that can be... Ah, boy, let's just get rid of that Kia head. The dead Kia piece right there. Question is, where is my garbage dump right now? I don't actually know. I have a suspicion as to where it is. The last track was a banger. Yeah, I really wish that the last track was like coming out alongside of an update though. Because it just kind of releasing on its own is a little odd actually. But it is a banger. It's one of those classics from the old eras. For those of you who didn't notice, Dabu and Simon put out a new track, which is a remaster of Danger Room, which is one of Simon's original fan tracks. That must be a cool fucking process. Imagine being like a fan composer for something like Dwarf Fortress, and then stumbling into just like, oh, now you're writing the official soundtrack, and a lot of the soundtrack is just songs that you wrote previously that you now get to remaster. Like, that's just super cool. It's gonna be a neat experience. UGDPY, thank you very much for keeping that sub alive for 28 months. I appreciate you greatly. Seriously. You know, I've been very tempted to buy Sword of the Sand and just stream that on Friday. I'm just scared very few people would tune in. If you guys haven't seen that game, it's the new game from Giant Squid, who are the people who made Abzu, and a studio founded by the art director and one of the designers of Journey from that game company. It's basically just like snowboarding on a sword with vibes game. Been thinking about getting it yourself? I've been told it's only about 3 hours, so... My concern with games like that is people wouldn't watch due to spoilers, but... I've been trying to debate what I want to do on Friday, and I just kind of want to do something wildly out of left field. Because I do want to stream on Friday, but I also don't want to stream very long on Friday, because I have a bunch of other shit I gotta do on Friday. Mostly in relation to editing. Cooking stream? Nah, that's for me, not you. I'll keep that suggestion in mind, though, if I ever change that mind. You know what's funny is, like, Twitch allows us to apply for front page on Twitch now. And so we're allowed to, like, basically send in an application for front page. And I got it accepted a couple times, which I'm very thankful for. But every single application I've sent in recently has been denied. And it's starting to just, like, bum me out, because each time it's like... They basically say in their wording, like, come up with an event or do something creative and it'll increase your chances. So it's always like, I come up with something neat that I would do that's, like, different from what I normally do. And I send in, like, this written application, basically. And every time it's been like, yeah, nah. And it kind of feels bad. You won't be around on Friday? Oh, no! You'll be afar. Keep fighting? What, in regards to applying? Yeah, I mean, I'll keep applying, but it's neat that, like, there's actually a way to get onto front page again, because for years it was basically if you didn't know somebody, get fucked. And then for a while it was, unless you live in, like, Germany, get fucked. And now, like, we actually have a way to apply, which is good, but there's obviously a lot of competition, so... I have a feeling for people like me that are very steady, I am lower priority, I would presume, because I've been doing this forever, and it's like, well, you don't need it. So, it's just a bit discouraging, I suppose. I just put 2 chests in that room. One, 2, 3. Gonna need more cabinets. 4, 5. Does anybody not have a bedroom? Kiddo, you can have that one. When does the Siege update come? As soon as it's ready. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I wish I did. I actually was talking with Kit Fox this morning and just kind of politely asking for better communication. Like, from any direction. Because it was really good up until Adventure Mode released. And since then it's been difficult. Like I used to know like the day before stuff was gonna happen. Now I have zero indication or knowledge of when things are gonna happen, and it kind of sucks. So I have no idea. I wish I knew. You finally got making some land masses, but now it's yelling about rainfall. I honestly maintain that the wiki is one of the best resources for Advanced World Gen stuff, purely because like Advanced World Gen really hasn't changed in a very long time. Like just Control F the thing you're trying to do, and then just do what the wiki says. It's maybe like one of the best pages on the wiki. What's up, Cheryl? Itty. But yeah, the reason I just want better communication is like better communication allows for better coordination, and it allows for like, you know, there are some games that are very good about like when a big patch or a DLC comes out. There's like an announcement and a trailer, and then an announcement for the day the beta goes live, which they did for Adventure Mode. And then the beta goes live, and then people can test it with like a rough idea of how long it'll be in beta. 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, whatever. Just like a window. And then usually that beta disappears. And then a week later, it releases fully. A lot of games are pretty good about that, and I really wish Dwarf Fortress was better about doing something like that. They can keep doing the piecemeal patches and throwing stuff in here and there, like the like fixes and stuff. That's fine. There's no issue with that. I just wish there was more communication about when a release was going to happen. Because like, I don't know, it's tough, man. Keeping track of Dwarf Fortress is more difficult than it should be. No, I mean, there's a bunch of issues in the current game. Ben Adequate. You are absolutely correct. That's kind of what I'm talking about too, is like they've had the testing branch for a while, right? But like nobody knows what the current testing branch is for current stuff. Like there's the experimental branch, there's the beta branch, and that's already like too many branches. You need to cut down some of them trees, okay? So yeah, I don't know. There needs to be like version numbered beta branches and announcements when things go into the beta branches. Well, cheers. Congrats on finding my YouTube channel. Cheryl. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm of the opinion that the experimental branch should be behind a password, Dadrick. And I don't think it should be hard to get that password. I think it should be, like, as difficult as going to a room on the KitFox Discord and just grabbing the password. But it should be behind a password, and it should change periodically. Because realistically, like, a lot of the stuff that ends up in that branch, most people have, like, no business testing. And that branch is almost always out of date or, like, running a lot of very dated stuff that, like, most people shouldn't be playing with. Because it's just, like, not relevant to the current game. A lot of the time. But people see experimental and they go, oh, well, that'll obviously be the most up-to-date. It's like, well, not really. Yes, I made backups. That's funny. Yeah, so basically that. Like, stuff will break and I accept this fact going in. Stuff like that. That's funny. I didn't know that about Valheim. That's pretty good, actually. A+. Passing grade, that's for sure. So yeah, I don't know. I really like this video game, but I think in some ways it is a victim of its own success. And it's been like this for a long time, you know? Back in the day, we would have no idea that an update was coming out, and then suddenly an update would be out. And I think that it feels like that was kind of a thing that was falling into the past a little bit. And now it's like, it feels like it's back again. And maybe that's just because Tarn's been busy. I don't know. I don't know nobody's really at fault for it. I'm trying to think the right wording here. I'm trying to be careful with my choice of words. I don't think anybody's really at fault for it. I think they just need to be a little bit more organized about how they communicate with people who've bought this game and people who are playing it actively, because the audience is a lot bigger, which means you need more coordination to talk to everybody simultaneously. A trapper has been possessed. We're getting another strange mood. Always exciting. You know what I mean? Chat, do you guys agree? Curious, I'm just talking out of my ass here, or if I'm making some sense. Ooh, novice metal crafter. Grabs iron. It's gonna be my first metal artifact, I think. Grabs turkey bone. I think it's a little bit of... okay, I don't know how much, or if at all, Tarn looks at player counts, but I know for a fact that he looks at numbers of copies sold, right? Per month. I think in order for a game to sell, there needs to be a thing coming that people are expecting. And I agree that getting rid of the arcs is probably the better way to do it, in the sense of we're not going to get a patch for 2 years or any bug fixes or anything and then a really big chunk of content comes out. But I think there is something to be said for stacking a bunch of features that make sense as a unit and marketing that as something. Like, they could be sitting in a passworded experimental branch for a month, or 3 months, or 6 months, or 8 months, with some testing going on. But they shouldn't be shouting that to the high heavens. That is a lot of bone. Cave spider silk cloth, turkey gobbler bone, iron bars, turkey leather, turkey bone, turkey hen bone, and turkey hen bone, and turkey leather. There's a lot of turkey. There's more turkey than anything else in this. Any bets on what this dwarf makes, chat? It's a metal crafter. I'm hoping for a door. Turkey bone sword? This needs to move. This all needs to be reorganized. This fruit's really taking shape today. Let's go down here. I'm gonna go farming, butcher. Turkey bone, dude, an instrument would be awesome. Actually, that would be really neat. Yeah, if you do it direct, if you do the wood work orders directly through the workshop, it still specifies the wood, but it is kind of a pain. Actually, very much a pain, not kind of a pain. There's quite a few new plants that need processing, yes, and it's part of the dyes stuff, which is actually a really good patch. I really like that patch. It has a few problems. Some of the dyes aren't actually possible to make, but I think it's a really cool patch. Dwarves can see through them, which in some ways could be a benefit in theory, but mostly aesthetic. It's like 98% aesthetics, 1% use. Also value. Bars also provide value, but the nice thing about grates is grates don't count as bars still in your inventory, so it's easier to keep track of them. An iron amulet. Yuvash, the trapper, has created Mono Torvad, Lemul Shin, an iron amulet, and offers it to the Mountain of Dyes. That's going to be a gift for the mayor, I think. This is an iron amulet. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is decorated with turkey bone and encircled with bands of turkey leather. This object menaces with spikes of iron and turkey bone, and menaces with spikes of iron and turkey bone and turkey leather. On the item, this object menaces with spikes of iron, turkey bone, and turkey leather. On the item is an image of dwarves in cave spider silk. The dwarves are laboring. The artwork relates to the foundation of Colorbeard by the Mountain of Dyes and of the strategic boots in the early spring of 300. On the item is an image of a jumping spider in turkey bone. On the item is an image of Ingush bridled mirror. That's a hard thing to say. The dwarf and dwarves in turkey bone. Ingush is surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the ascension of the dwarf Ingush to the position of queen of the strategic boots in 208. You said a ring? I mean, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. I mean, it's not the most valuable of them, but let's see what Gig thinks of it. I'm also just going to go here real quick and just say totem. If the amount, I love this word. If the amount of unrotten totemable, is totemable a word? Body part is available, is above 10. Just make 10. Yeah, we'll just do that. That'll be a bunch of totems, but just want to get it done. God, that's funny. Totemable. I said it, it's a word. I don't think that's necessarily how the English language works, but I will humor that statement. And then I will go around the edge with conglomerate if I have it. Do. And now almost immediately you're going to be like, blind? There's a problem with this building. And I'm going to be like, I know, don't worry, I'll fix it. That's how I'm fixing it. Me too. I'm like astounded at how much malachite I found. I'm moving this stockpile into here. And then I'm going to build a building around this, because this is also going to need a way into here as well. Look at all of that movement. There's something about like just 200 dwarves all working on one task simultaneously that I just love. Takos, where's the door? Don't worry about it. Keep building. That cost. That cost. Conglomerate. Oh, these are floors. My bad. I can fix that. And then, I see I missed one. You're watching Ghost Candy earlier. You love how the dwarves look filing through all the long hallways together. Yeah, it's kind of... That's definitely part of the appeal of this game, is it's kind of like a... I mean, a playable anthill is a silly statement because Sim Ant exists, but like, it is kind of like a gamified anthill in a lot of ways. I think this is starting to look like a fort. More so than it has up until this point. Like, this is truly starting to look like a fort. I sort of want to make Mr. Bones' Wild Ride sort of fort with excessively long pathways between areas. Man, that sounds like an ambiguous amphibian video. It's like, I made the longest pathway in Dwarf Fortress or something. Or that dwarves can physically walk without dying of starvation or something. Although the reality is they'd start walking and then they'd make it until they got thirsty and then they'd turn around and go back to the surface to get the nearest water. Or like they'd stop and eat. Take the minecart plunge. The whole time you've played DF, you thought that minecarts could only hold one item. Oh, really? No, it's 100. Don't ever like look into nesting nine carts in minecarts. Never look into nesting minecarts in minecarts, because then you'll realize that you can have like hundreds of minecarts per minecart. Because you can have I think it's 156 minecarts if they're made of wood in one minecart. So you could have 156 full minecarts in a minecart. Anyway, assuming that all still works, I haven't tried doing it in a very long time, and it kind of broke my brain the one time I did, and I didn't make it very far, so I kind of gave up. But there was, at the very least, one point in time where you could sort of do that. Say what? I mean, what? You asked. I'm just following instructions. No going back on such knowledge, and info hazard. I like that. Kia lower body. Wow. I mean, it's just like that you can fit 1,000 characters in one tile in Dwarf Fortress as long as 999 of them are lying down. Like, when I tell people that Dwarf Fortress is basically just Paper Mario, it really kind of changes your knowledge of how things work. And makes you question a lot of stuff. Whoopsies. I now need a finished goods stockpile, so I think I'm going to move these carpentry shops. Think about putting a finished goods stockpile, like, directly behind this. Maybe, like, right here, even. But then that's also further for them to walk from up here and over here. So maybe actually finished goods should be, like, right here. So if I get rid of, like, you... And, just make a leather workshop up here. Or just a leather stockpile, just generic leather. Just throw leather there, please. Go down here. This is church. Sure. Screwed up one of these, but I can fix it. Dwarf Fortress is Paper Mario, yeah, because dwarves are flat. I don't know. $50 dwarves in one tile with all their parts melting. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And also then they're probably recontaminating each other. Well, actually, if it's an outdoor hospital, it's even worse because then they would recontaminate each other with each other's pus and blood. And whatever thing is making them melt. Sparky, 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 thanks for the 23rd month. Please forget everything I just said because that is a disturbing thought. But appreciate you, mate. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching the stream and everything you do. If you know what that is, Danielle, you don't need a tutorial on it. That's all I have to say. Also, no, because I have no idea how it works. I mean, I do in theory. In YouTube chat, Daniel asked if we can get a Cassette Dur introduction tutorial. I don't know how to do that. It's the Dwarf Fortress martial art, which is like the theory of like optimizing wrestling. I know it exists. I read a forum post about it once. That's all I know, so. Turn your monitor 90 degrees and suddenly all the dwarfs fit into a smaller area. Sure. Also, this is just me being presumptuous, and I could be very wrong here. But I feel like not enough people know what Cassette Dur is for a tutorial per se, presented as a tutorial. I don't think that would garner enough interest for that to be worth making for me. I have to be very cautious about stuff like that right now too, because like YouTube currently doesn't really like me very much algorithmically, and hasn't for about 3 months. So I have to be a little bit cautious about what I commit to doing. That's actually the reason I haven't made any tutorials recently, because tutorials have just done terrible for the channel for a while. So I've been waiting for like a big update where it would make some sense to do a couple tutorials back to back. But I mean, people are asking me today when sieges are out, so yeah. I wish I knew. Yes, but let me ask you this. How many people were playing Dwarf Fortress for the first time when I first started making those tutorials? Flash of Manfu. And the answer to that question, because I'm going to ask and answer a question. That was anyway. It was kind of a rhetorical question. The vast majority of the player base. All of those people now know how to play the game to the point where they either ask their friends or they're already playing. And yes, new people do come in and they find the pre-existing tutorials, but the number of people still actively looking for tutorials is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction what it was. In order for tutorials to be worth making, there has to be a large influx of people somewhere. As an example, when the Down the Rabbit Hole video released recently about Dwarf Fortress, that would have theoretically been probably a decent time, actually, to make a tutorial for Dwarf Fortress. But I didn't know that video was coming out until it was out. Bunch of new people came into the game, lasted about 2 weeks. A lot of my tutorials got views again for the first time in a long time. And then it kind of quieted down. Unless you have a large influx of new players for some reason, as in giant YouTube video, major patch, tutorials are basically not worth making. The last tutorials I created were for adventure mode, and they didn't do great already. And it's been a while since then. So if I make a tutorial right now, it's almost guaranteed to do worse than anything else I could make. And so that's why with the big story videos, I try and cram tutorialization into them, because it attracts a wider audience that's never going to be interested in playing the game anyways, but also attracts people that are more likely to have never played the game or have never played the game before, and maybe that tutorialization can help them get past that. I want to walk into the ocean and never come out of it. That's awful, Fleshman Fu. I'm actually kind of upset about that. I hate the world we live in. It's disgusting. Yikes. Anyway. Well, that ruined my day. Let's move on. So I'm trying to get just like all of these crafts that I've been making redistributed and gotten rid of and moved away. I probably also need just like an empty barrel stockpile. That'd actually be useful. May actually just do that like right here. Like empty large pots and empty barrels. All right. Why do I always forget how to write barrel? B-A-R-R. It is B-A-R-R. B-A-R-R-E-L. Is that not finished goods? Oh, I guess they're furniture. Simply put, I don't think you would like to know my answer to why that's the response to using my persona with ChatGPT to ask questions about Dwarf Fortress. Unless ChatGPT is paying me a licensing fee, I feel violated. And that's genuinely upsetting to me. That's all. Fuck that stupid shit. Fucking garbage. All right. Let's read a guide. Just gonna put cages down here since we're organizing things. Or I'm organizing things. Those are... I thought cages were furniture. Must have their... Oh, no, right. They're under animals. Empty cages. Yeah. Do I have to set the material for that? I don't think so. No, I don't. I'm not going to ban people for that, but I will express my lack of amusement. That's it. Yeah. I should stop talking. I think I should put a pillar in the middle of this rather than building the stockpile. So I'm going to knock out that tile and build a pillar. Two seconds, chat. It's a mixture of dimple dye and pear bark dye. How do I word this? Tonight you're listening to a Post Malone concert for free? That's kind of funny. I got to see The Roots for free by walking up the street, which was just I was like relaxing in bed reading my book, and then suddenly I heard The Roots and I was like, what the fuck? And then I just kind of like walked outside, walked up the street and looked over the bay and was like, oh shit, The Roots are playing. Chat, I think there's only one way forward here. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna go edit videos. I don't want to feel like we are attacking a person, and I don't want to attack a person. You are entitled to do what you want with software. Just whatever you do, do it ethically. And I think this is going to be a very unpleasant next 45 minutes. So, please don't take this personally. Fleshman Fu, you are okay. You can do what you want, but just realize being a creative in the current year is the equivalent of every major corporation trying to unexist your work and devalue and invalidate your work by stealing it and using it to train things that make them money. And it just really, really hurts to hear that you don't want to just join my Discord and ask a question. That's it. It fucking sucks, man. Like, you do you. I use it for YouTube, like, tags. But, like, that's all. Chat, we'll be on tomorrow. Normal time. YouTube folks, I'm shutting you down now. I will be on tomorrow at the normal time. It should be about a 7-hour stream. I'm gonna go work on the next big video and try and get some editing time in today. And, yeah, that's all I got, YouTube folks.